Hey guys, welcome back. It's Missy, and I am a life and relationship coach. And on my channel, we get to the root of the issue and we learn how to heal and deal. So if that's your thing, go ahead and hit that subscribe part. Hit that subscribe button. I would love for you to be a part of the fam. Please excuse if you see any tears or anything. My eyes crying really badly. I have really bad allergies. So hopefully you guys don't think any less of me and then you guys abandon me. Did you see what I did there? I'm going right into today's topic, which today's topic is fear of abandonment. So what would it look like if you were someone that struggles with fear of abandonment? So someone who suffers with fear of abandonment, they will show signs like that they are clingy, that they are very possessive, that they are jealous, or it could be the opposite where they are very avoidant. So they may try to keep away from people, or they may be a big people pleaser or self-sabotage, have a hard time asking for their needs, or they lack boundaries. So they let people walk all over them and they just let people do whatever they want. And this is because they fear they are unlovable or they will not be accepted by others and they will be rejected and then be alone. So where does this come from? There's a lot of reasons why someone may struggle with the fear of abandonment, but one of the reasons is attachment style, which I talk more about in one of my previous videos where I talk about insecure attachment. And insecure attachment is basically where the parent, usually the mother, was very inconsistent with giving that baby, that infant, their needs. So they never knew when they were going to get cuddled or fed or anything like that because the attention was very inconsistent. So because of that, that then led them to have that fear that their needs would not be met. And it led them to believe that the world was untrustworthy and they had to kind of survive through things and figure things out on their own. Another thing with insecure attachment is when their needs were not met, they would then want to punish that parent. So they may cry or throw a tantrum or be angry at that parent for not giving them their needs. Or the child that may be very avoidant, where they want nothing to do with the parent and they completely avoid those interactions to protect themselves because they know it's so inconsistent. So that leads over to adulthood, where you then will either be very avoidant with relationships or you will be very clingy and needy, and when that person doesn't give you your needs, you then will punish them. So punishment can mean you lash out on them, or you give them the silent treatment, or you don't give them their needs, like maybe you withhold affection. It can cause you to have very high expectations of others, to overcompensate for the fact that your needs weren't met and you didn't learn how to give yourself your own needs. Another reason why someone would struggle with fear of abandonment is that they had dealt with abandonment early on, whether that's a father or a mother that had abandoned them, or maybe emotionally or even physically their needs weren't met as a child, or maybe they were emotionally neglected as a child. So maybe all your physical needs were met, but emotionally you were completely neglected. You didn't have a parent that validated you or helped you through things where you could talk to them. Or another cause of it could be death. As a child, you experienced death early on. That could cause you to feel that fear of abandonment. Or another thing could be you can't really connect with other kids. So if you're not able to connect with other kids, you then are led to feel alone, and that's terrifying because we as humans, we have a need to connect with people. We need to feel like we're a part of society, because otherwise in our minds and our fight or flight, we feel like we'll die because we're not a part of the pact. Then we'll be alone and we won't be able to survive. And then the last one is if it happens in adulthood, that could be because of a relationship that failed and you dealt with this deep pain that you were never really able to process or get through and nurture yourself through. So you now have this fear of abandonment, that other people will give you that same pain because we don't want to experience that pain. Now, how this fear of abandonment can affect your adult relationships, your teenage relationships, whatever it is, your older relationships, what happens is you usually become clingy and needy to a specific person. Usually this person shows that they are able to meet your needs. Maybe they overly validate you, they make you feel nurtured in some sort of way, they make you feel comforted. They're basically filling that hole where you didn't feel like you had a parent. It's a way for your body, it's a way for you to deal with your childhood trauma. Since your parent didn't give you your needs and you didn't learn how to give yourself your needs, you now expect your partner or that specific person to fulfill and meet those needs. You may notice yourself going into relationships feeling this emptiness, like you need them, you have this need for them. It's not just a want them and it's an enjoyment, it's a need in order to feel like you are a fulfilled whole person. So how do you deal with this damn fear of abandonment? The main thing with fear of abandonment is that you want to transfer from feeling like you need to rely on others to fulfill your needs to becoming self-reliant and also to feel empowered. So the first thing that would be really helpful is to find out the cause, get to the root of the issue. Is it because of your attachment style? Is it because you dealt with some sort of abandonment from your parents? Was it a relationship? What is the root cause? Because when you understand the root cause, you can help yourself nurture through it. Next thing that's really important is understand it's not your fault. Sometimes things happen where people do certain things and it's not because of you. What happened to you as a child, it doesn't reflect of you and your worth. That's what's really important, because that fear of abandonment comes from you feeling like you won't be accepted or loved. Whether you're negative or positive, it doesn't matter. You don't feel good enough or you're worthy of other people's love. So you need to understand it's not your fault why those people abandon you. It was an issue on their end. The next thing is that you need to stop beating yourself up and accept that you have this fear. A lot of people struggle with that fear of abandonment because of their past trauma. And you need to be more kind towards yourself. You need to have self-compassion. And what that means is that accepting that you have flaws and you make mistakes, but it doesn't attribute to your worth or what you deserve. When you can love yourself first and understand what you deserve, you are then able to be in healthy relationships because you know what you want, you know what's good for you in your life, and so you won't lead yourself down that path of dealing with unhealthy people where they're more likely to have negative effects on you. You being compassionate and loving towards yourself will lead you to other loving and compassionate people. When you feel bad about yourself or you have self-hatred or you beat yourself up, you're more likely to deal with those types of people. The other thing, which I talk about a lot, is you need to use reparenting language and self-soothing and nurturing. So you need to learn how to tell yourself the things that you weren't told or you didn't receive as a child. So you need to tell yourself that everything's gonna be okay. You need to tell yourself that you love yourself and that you accept yourself, flaws and all. You need to tell yourself you're deserving of good things. You need to tell yourself that it's okay to make mistakes. It doesn't mean that you're a terrible person. You need to say the things that you wish you heard as a child. And you also need to learn how to self-soothe through negative times. Which kind of goes to my next point, where you need to stop expecting other people, a specific partner, a specific friend, whatever it is, to give yourself the needs that you are not able to receive. You need to learn how to give yourself those needs, because here's the thing, you're not like that helpless child anymore. You are an older person where you can give yourself those needs. You don't have to rely on someone else like you did in the past. It sucks that happened and you felt like your needs weren't met. But now as an adult, as an older person, you 100% can give yourself those needs. You can communicate, you can speak to yourself the way that you weren't able to be spoken to in a positive, nurturing way. You can acknowledge yourself, you can validate yourself, you can give yourself all those things that you didn't receive. So you need to understand that and take responsibility of your own stuff and have that confidence of knowing you can work through things. You don't need someone else to work through it for you. You 100% can do it yourself. Something that I tell my clients that is really helpful to help with that validation and that reparenting language is send yourself little text messages like, I love you so much, I'm so proud of you, you're doing a great job. Things like that could really help you, because it feels like it's you sending yourself these text messages rather than expecting it from somebody else. That's just one way you can give yourself your needs. You always want to ask yourself, what do you need? And then give yourself those needs rather than relying on somebody else. Tell yourself things like, I am worthy of good things. I am a good person. I'm worth healthy relationships, not just any relationship. You want to really work on those insecurities and promote yourself to feel your own self-love and feel confident and good about who you are rather than playing on those insecurities and making other people validate you. You need to validate yourself and say good, loving things towards yourself, things that you like about yourself. Every day, remind yourself the good things about yourself. That's the things that you could send in those reminders. It's not just important that you say these things, it's important you feel it as well. You want to recreate that same nurturing feeling you get when you're with your partner. You want to recreate it for yourself. So it's really important when you're saying these nurturing things, when you're saying these very parenting things, you're saying it with the feeling of being nurtured and loved, and you feel all these positive, good feelings throughout your entire body, because that is how you change your belief systems of feeling like you can give yourself your own needs. The next thing is that you need to recognize your own bad behavior. You need to recognize when maybe you are feeling that urge to be vengeful or be spiteful or punish the person that maybe didn't meet your expectations. And you need to understand like those things have consequences. It causes you to push people away. The thing that's the biggest problem is your fear of pushing people away is causing you to then make moves to push people away. When you try to punish the person for not meeting your expectations, or when you avoid that person, you're then causing yourself to be in that fear. So the thing is that you want to stop focusing on that. Recognize when you're getting that urge and question yourself. Be like, okay, what's going on? Why am I about to do this? Okay, I'm feeling insecure right now. Okay, let me nurture myself through this insecurity and think about facts over my fears, because your fears can be very irrational and they can be sporadic and they can cause you to spiral. So the thing is, you need to recognize and say, okay, does this make sense? Is there facts to back up this evidence? Like maybe you're having an insecurity that let's say you're having insecurity that your partner is cheating on you. So ask yourself, like, do you have really any information to back this up? Did you see them kissing someone? Did you see them being flirty with someone? Where is this accusation coming from? And then you want to challenge it and think about the facts behind it. And then that's when you need to nurture yourself through it. Say, okay, this is my insecurity. I'm just afraid that this is going to happen. It doesn't mean it's actually going to happen, but I'm going to be okay. Which kind of goes into the next point, is telling yourself you don't need any specific person. Do we need people in general? Yes, but you don't need that specific person. You will survive without that person. You also want to ask yourself, like, okay, what is my deep-seated root fear? That this person won't like me. Okay, what's wrong if that person doesn't like you? Then your next fear will be, I'll be alone. Well, what's wrong with really being alone? Is there anything really inherently wrong with being alone? Will you die from being alone? No. You need to accept and be okay with being alone. You need to be okay with your fears. Our fears don't always mean it's a reality. And the thing is, we all are gonna be alone, and it's okay to be alone. You need to find comfort in being alone. So that's another thing, is you need to get comfortable with being alone and also accept that you're going to feel negative sometimes, you're going to be afraid, and it's okay. Because a lot of times with fear of abandonment is you're trying to avoid the negative feeling. You will 100% be okay. When you learn how to nurture through these feelings and you learn how to get through them and know that everything's gonna be okay, you won't be so afraid of that abandonment, because you know that you're okay alone and you don't need that specific person, because you're giving yourself your own needs. And also it's important to lower your expectations for that specific person. You need to hold yourself accountable for a lot of things, and you can't expect this person to basically be your parent or heal that wound or fill that empty hole. Because every time you have high expectations for other people, it will push them away, as it's overwhelming and it's stressful to meet those needs for you, because your expectations of them are too high, as you are not giving your own needs. When it comes to that, you're basically asking them to raise you in a way. You need to heal that inner child wound and know that you got you. You're going to be okay. Whether that person leaves or not, you need to change your thoughts from you need that person to you want that person. They're a pleasure. They're not a need. If you are someone that's a people pleaser, or you struggle with boundaries, or you're an overgiver, you need to lessen the expectation of yourself, because that's a big reason why you may have high expectations for others. And you need to not give more than you're getting. And you also need to set boundaries for yourself. So you need to understand the type of people that you want in your life. You don't want to just take any certain person that is enabling you or validating you. No, like, you want to make sure that you have specific requirements, like someone that's fun, someone that's a good listener, someone that won't enable you but rather encourage you, be supportive, things like that. And you need to be aware of what kinds of things are you okay with and you want, and what are things that you're not okay with that you need to set those boundaries. You don't want to let just any and everyone in. You want to let in the people that are healthy for you, that will be supportive, but supportive in a healthy way, not just taking over and taking care of you. So you need to stop overly giving. And if you notice someone's not putting in the time of day that you're putting in, then you need to lower your expectations for yourself. You need to stop overly giving and not make yourself feel like you need that particular person. Because one of the reasons why you're being overly nice or overly giving is because you feel like you need that specific person to like you, whether it's because of your insecurity or you feel like your self-worth is hurt. Like, no, you don't need that specific person. So stop giving more than you're getting. So how you deal with fear of abandonment is: 1, recognize the cause. 2, understand it's not your fault. Be really compassionate with yourself. Be nurturing, self-soothing, reparenting language. Take accountability for your own, take responsibility for your own things. Lower your expectations of that specific person. Think about facts. Do you have any evidence to prove that this person is doing this certain thing? Work on your insecurities and know that you got you and you can help your own needs. Remember, you want to transform from being reliant on others to self-reliant and empowered. What do you guys think? Do you deal with fear of abandonment, or have any ways that you deal with this fear? Leave it all in the comments below. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share with someone that you think may need it. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye, guys. Oh God, I'm crying like crazy. Hey guys, welcome back. Oh, I don't like that one. Ow, touch my toes. Read it for yourself.